Did you know World War I, also known as the Great War, holds many secrets still unknown to many of us? Today, we delve deep into the annals of history, unearthing 27 little-known facts about this global conflict that forever shaped the course of human history. Picture this: a world where Germany was known by a different name and a country that dared to switch allegiances right in the middle of the war. Intrigued? That's just the tip of the iceberg. From unexpected alliances to unusual war strategies, untold heroes to unprecedented weapons, and the unbelievable aftermath, we're about to embark on a journey of discovery that will leave you spellbound. So fasten your seatbelts and prepare for a roller coaster ride through the pages of history. Stay tuned to uncover these fascinating facts that will blow your mind. Imagine being in the middle of the fight and deciding to switch sides. Sounds incredible, doesn't it? Yet, during the chaos of the First World War, this was the reality for one nation. Let's delve into the fascinating tale of Italy, a country that did the unexpected. Italy was initially part of the Central Powers, alongside Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. However, they had a change of heart. In the spring of 1915, Italy turned its back on its allies and joined the Entente Powers, France, Russia, and Britain. This was a game-changing moment in the war, altering the dynamics of power and adding a new layer of complexity to an already intricate conflict. Italy's decision was driven by a promise of territorial gains. The Treaty of London, signed in April 1915, promised Italy territories in Austria-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire if they fought against their former allies. This was an offer too tempting to refuse. Thus, Italy entered the war on the side of the Entente Powers, a move that shocked the world. But Italy wasn't the only country making unexpected alliances. Japan, an island nation far removed from the battlefields of Europe, also joined the Entente Powers. Their goal was not territorial gains, but to secure their status as a global power. By aligning themselves with the victors, Japan hoped to strengthen its international standing. These unexpected alliances significantly shaped the outcome of the war. Italy's switch added a new front in the war, forcing the Central Powers to divert resources and manpower. Japan's entry bolstered the naval strength of the Entente Powers and helped secure sea routes in the Pacific and Indian Oceans. So, you see, alliances, as unexpected as they may be, can indeed make or break wars. The First World War was no exception. These alliances, born out of self-interest and strategic calculations, played a crucial role in shaping the course of history. Alliances can indeed make or break wars. War is not just about brute force, it's also about cunning strategies. In the throes of World War I, military commanders had to think outside the box, devising some of the most unusual war strategies. It wasn't just about who had the biggest guns, but who had the sharpest minds. Take, for example, the use of fake trees. Yes, you heard that right, fake trees. During the conflict, armies would replace real trees damaged by artillery shells with artificial ones crafted by skilled artists. These were not just decorative, they served as ingenious observation posts. From these vantage points, soldiers could spy on enemy lines, gathering valuable intel while camouflaged amidst the shattered landscape. But the creativity didn't stop at flora. Another unusual yet effective strategy involved our feathered friends, pigeons. With radios still in their infancy and not always reliable, these birds became crucial messengers. Attached with small containers or pigeongrams, they'd carry vital messages across enemy lines. These winged couriers proved so reliable that both sides used them, with some pigeons even receiving medals for their service. And let's not forget the creeping barrage. This was a meticulously coordinated artillery strategy designed to keep the enemy pinned down while infantry advanced. A wall of explosive shells would creep forward, maintaining a steady pace with the infantry. This required precise timing and communication, and when executed correctly, could be devastatingly effective. Then there was the Q-ship strategy, a maritime deception used by the British Navy. Regular merchant ships were transformed into deadly trap vessels, armed with concealed weapons. These Q-ships would pretend to be easy targets for German submarines, only to reveal their true firepower when the enemy came close enough. These are just a few examples of the unusual war strategies employed during World War I. They serve as a stark reminder that in the theater of war, It's often innovation and ingenuity that can tip the scales of victory. In war, every trick in the book counts. Heroes come in all shapes and sizes, even as animals. As the Great War raged on, it wasn't just humans who were called to serve. Our animal companions, often overlooked, played critical roles in the conflict. Their stories, while lesser known, are no less heroic. Let's start with the homing pigeons. Now, you might think of pigeons as nothing more than city-dwelling birds, but during World War I, they were the unsung heroes of communication. With no satellites or advanced radios, armies relied on these winged messengers to carry critical information across battle lines. Their uncanny ability to find their way home over long distances, even in challenging weather, saved countless lives. Dogs, man's best friend, also served with distinction. They were trained for various roles, from sentry duties to locating wounded soldiers. There were even some dogs trained to run messages. One such dog, a mongrel named Rags, became a mascot for the U.S. 1st Infantry Division. He carried messages under heavy artillery fire, and his story remains a testament to the bravery of these canine soldiers. But perhaps the most unusual animal hero was a bear named Wojtek. Yes, a bear. A Syrian brown bear, to be precise. Wojtek was adopted by Polish soldiers as a cub and quickly became a beloved member of the 22nd Artillery Supply Company. He even helped move ammunition. No task too small for this bear. Wojtek's story is a reminder of the peculiar and heartwarming bonds that can form even in the midst of war. These animal heroes of World War I remind us that bravery and loyalty aren't just human traits. They showed us that when the chips are down, when the situation is dire, help can come from the most unexpected quarters. So let's take a moment to remember these unsung heroes. They might not have understood the politics or the reasons behind the war, but they served with a courage that knows no species. Courage knows no species. When it comes to weapons, World War I introduced some game changers. As the world plunged into the chaos of war, the need for superior firepower and strategic advantage led to an arms race of unprecedented proportions. This era saw the birth of some of the most iconic and devastating weapons, which forever changed the landscape of warfare. Picture the flamethrower, a terrifying device that brought fire into the battlefield in a way never seen before. The Germans introduced this fearsome weapon, which could unleash a stream of fire up to 35 feet, causing havoc and demoralizing enemy troops. Despite its short range and dangerous volatility, the flamethrower was a psychological weapon that left a lasting legacy on the battleground. Then there were the tanks, lumbering behemoths of metal that could traverse the treacherous terrain of no man's land with relative ease. These armored vehicles, first used by the British, were a response to the stalemate of trench warfare, providing a mobile shield for infantry and a platform for machine guns and cannons. Though their initial impact was limited due to mechanical issues and strategic mishandling, tanks would go on to become a staple of modern warfare. But perhaps the most feared and controversial of all the weapons introduced during World War I were chemical weapons. The use of poisonous gases like chlorine and mustard gas marked a dark chapter in the history of warfare. These insidious weapons caused untold suffering and death, lingering in the trenches and making every breath a potential death sentence. Despite being outlawed by the Geneva Protocol in the 1920s, the specter of chemical warfare still haunts us today. The introduction of these weapons during World War I marked a significant shift in the paradigm of warfare. It was no longer just about the courage and skill of individual soldiers, but also about technological advancement and industrial might. Weapons can change the course of a war. And in World War I, they did just that. The end of the war did not mean the end of its impact. The aftermath of the Great War, as it was known then, was a complex web of political maneuvering, boundary redrawing, and treaty signing. The world map was essentially resketched, with new nations emerging from the ashes of fallen empires. The Ottoman Empire crumbled, giving birth to modern-day Turkey. The Austro-Hungarian Empire was disintegrated, leading to the creation of several independent nations in Central Europe. Post-war, the leaders of the Allied powers convened in Paris for a peace conference. Here, they drafted the Treaty of Versailles, a document that would bear the weight of the world's hopes for a lasting peace. Germany was forced to accept full responsibility for the war and was saddled with crippling reparations. This clause, known as the War Guilt Clause, stirred resentment within Germany, a feeling that would later fuel the flames of another devastating conflict. While the war was over, its ghosts lingered. Millions of soldiers returned home, bearing the physical and psychological scars of the battlefields. Many found it difficult to readjust to a civilian life, haunted by the horrors they had witnessed. The war had brought about a shift in societal norms, with women taking on roles traditionally held by men. As the men returned, this caused tension and confusion about gender roles and societal expectations. The war had also seen the advent of new technologies and strategies that would forever change the face of warfare. Tanks and airplanes, initially introduced during the war, became staples of modern military arsenals. Chemical weapons, first used with devastating effect during the war, brought about a new level of horror, leading to international agreements banning their use. And so, the world was left forever altered in the wake of the Great War. Nations were reborn, societies were reshaped, and the seeds of another world war were sown in the hearts of those who felt wronged by the peace treaties. The echoes of a war can be heard long after the guns fall silent. From surprising alliances to unprecedented weapons, World War I was indeed a war of many firsts. We've journeyed through the unexpected partnerships, dissected some unusual strategies, and paid homage to the untold heroes. We've explored the innovation that arose from necessity, with weaponry that forever changed the face of warfare. We've also delved into the unbelievable aftermath, the ripples of which are still felt to this day. These 27 unknown details are but a glimpse into the depths of history that await your exploration. Each fact is a thread in the vast tapestry of our shared past, intricately woven and waiting to be unraveled. The echoes of World War I continue to reverberate through the corridors of time, a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of mankind. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share your own interesting facts in the comment section below. Until next time, keep exploring history.